get it. I've got a new colouring book and I'm going to open it right now. I have not seen any previews, but this is the brand new, just released English edition of Hanna Karlzon's new colouring book, which is Tales from Atlantis. Let's take a little look. And here she is. The lovely, lovely Tales from Atlantis from Hanna Karlzon. Lovely foiling. Hardback. Beneath the mirror-like surface of the water lies the slumbering hidden city waiting to be brought back to life. Go on an adventure to the bottom of the sea, discover ruins, corals, seahorses and treasures in the company of imaginative fish and mermaids. Welcome down to a realm where time has stood still. Welcome to Atlantis. So, let me move this out of the way and we'll have a flick through. So this is from the Gibbs Smith publisher that she works with. So the paper is nice and smooth. Beautiful title page. Here we go. So as I say, I haven't seen any previews. I saw this book was on pre-order last year sometime, and I just added it to cart, pre-ordered it, because I don't need to be told twice. Hanna Karlzon's got a new book coming out. I need it. That's all I know. So we've got some patterns going on. Almost mandala-like, but obviously this is all going to be ocean themed. But in the Hanna Karlzon style, which is very fantasy orientated, lots of jewels are found, lots of opportunity to do some really cool backgrounds. You're going to have different materials to color here, so I'm guessing this is going to be kind of more pottery, but that could be shiny metals if you wanted. Lots of opportunity for marble. Lots of opportunity for pearls and bubbles. Bubbles are always fun to colour. Hair. Her portraits are always beautiful. I love the figures in her artwork. Jellyfish. Go crazy colours, because why not? Glowing. Okay, we're going to have some glowing opportunity here. Florals. Didn't expect to see many florals in the undersea theme, but yes, you get florals. Crystals. Lots of gems and crystal opportunities. Lots of textures. You've got the bricks here. You've got lots of foliage, corals, squishy leg things. I do love octopuses. 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 I think it's octopuses. I think it was a root word from Greece, I think. And that makes it octopuses. But let me know. Am I wrong? You can teach me. I don't mind. This is cute. She's got a fan made out of shells. So think of all your pearlescent ways of colouring. This is going to be fun. The hair, the pearls, the nauticus guy here. Again, covered and adorned in crystals. So not just any old undersea. Oh, yes, there's a huge, I want to say Greek, but obviously it's Atlantis themed. And the Greeks and the Atlanteans knew of each other, at least. So there's definitely going to be a lot of inspiration from the classical Mediterranean locations. Beautiful. We've seen faces facing each other in previous books. So this is gorgeous. This is a completely different style, like a completely different decoration and way to do these images, and I love them. So you have, oh, this is a nice new one where it makes a heart. You have various sizes. So you have like the double page spreads, and then you have more ornamental sized colorings, full on scenes, more scaled down. But I mean, I say scaled down. Look how much detail is in this. You got your tiny little fishy wishes, you got your bubbles, you got your shell, you got your florals. You're gonna have a lot of time to spend on this. Coins, so here comes your metallics, jewelry. She's so good at this. Tentacles, shells. Apologies if these guys freak you out. There doesn't seem to be that many of those nippies in this book. Mermaids, but it almost looks like they are fluffy. But again, think you have this huge open area, so you can either just color in the details as shown, or you can go wild on the backgrounds. And I'm gonna pull out my other Hanna Karlzons to see which was the Gibbs publisher, to see how it took to things like the Neocolor crayons, because your water-based stuff in this book, if you can pull it off, is going to be pretty spectacular. You've got a lovely classical warrior kind of figure here as well. So this has definitely got a really nice classical feel. Even if you take the Atlantis side out of it, it's still all of the things I love about classical architecture and artistry. So I don't even know where to begin with this. There's just so many things to point out and find. See, this could be glowing in a dark ocean. A seahorse unicorn? What do we call these guys? A seahorse with a unicorn horn. Here's a classical figure. Oh, and she is representing different body shape as well, which I am living for. We don't just want to be coloring skinny ladies the whole time. Some cool fish. And this is kind of giving me Art Deco vibes. But, could also be a bit alien-esque as well. More jewels. Her bugs are always very, very ornamental. Oh, there we go, feathers. We've got some feathers in here as well. More mermaids, more marble. Funny looking fish. Okay. So fish is one of the things I'm not a big fan of, just in general. Fish, I think it's the eyes. I think I've seen one too many unalived fish in my life, and that has always freaked me out. But I'm okay with these, because obviously they're not like any fish I've seen in a at the deli counter, and these guys could be so colorful and beautiful and magical looking. And they're almost smiling. Ooh, hello. Okay, so this is a nice just one day coloring opportunity. This guy here with the fur and the feathers. Ooh, yes. And now we could have like a nice sky in the background of this one. This one doesn't have to be underwater. More portraits done nice. I mean, are they related? Are they a couple? Are they royalty? So many ideas. This is beautiful with the pearls in the background. Oh my gosh, Hanna, how do you do it? This is beautiful. Another crusty crab. Look at the detail in this. Oh, I haven't seen her do any backgrounds like this before. That is pretty spectacular. And again, you can either go all out and color everything individually, or even just a wash of color over the whole background would still look beautiful. More fishies, shells, gems, bubbles. I'm going to have so much fun doing bubbles. Oh, she's got a pet fish. That's cute. And a duck. We've seen ducks before with little headdresses and bows and things. Very alien froggies. This, okay. So you could be clever with this. And because you have the waterline, you may want to do some sort of overlay or wash on top of your coloring after you've colored your duck in to give that illusion of water. Come up with something clever with this one, for sure. This is a beautiful scene. Again, you've got the above water and the below water, so you can have more play with lots of different effects and techniques here. She's very nautically inspired. So again, I mean, a lot of these figures, you have a choice here. You could do them as figures or you could do them as statues. So you could color the whole, take one of those and color the whole thing in marble. More crystal opportunities, florals. Oh, it just keeps on going. You get a lot. You get a lot in these books that she brings out. Beautiful. It could be a brooch. So again, this could be like a cabochon. Lots of fishes. So this would be kind of like more your mindful pattern coloring experience here. A froggy with the crown. That's cute. So now we have a water island. If you've got the city in the sky one, we've got some sky islands. So now we have some sea island. This is very pretty with the lilies. Sorry, I start thinking about colors and things. Oh, and then a message in the bottle. That is so cute. Okay, so love this book. I was a little unsure because I thought how many underwater or water-themed colorings would I like in a book? And actually, there's so much variety in here. I feel like this is obviously an overall theme, but there is still so many different things to be coloring in here and so many different techniques. A lot more single-sided, as in one-page images, because I know that people get a little upset with, let me find one. See, there's not as many this time. The page creases. People get a little upset trying to color into there, but you can do it, sharp pencil. But don't forget also, when you open the book after you've colored it, you're not going to be seeing the very, very inside of the crease anyway. So they don't bother me so much because I like to color, I have it in my head that one day I'm going to finish one of her books and it's just going to be, an end-to-end just art book, completely colored. So this one is the same publisher that I have in, is it this one? Is it Grains of Gold? Yeah. Okay, so I had the Grains of Gold, which is almost like the, greatest hits when this one came out. And with that in mind, I wanted to check the paper comparison. It does feel smoother. Okay. Okay. It does feel slightly smoother and slightly thinner. However, it is still the same off-white color. So we're still in the nice I don't know if you call this like a linen white rather than white white. I don't know if you can tell, but my desk is IKEA white, and this is not the same. But let me just check with. This one is the Swedish edition, which is a different publisher. I've used a lot of pastel in this one. This one is with this publisher. And if you want a comparison, I feel that, let's see, because I wanted to compare the paper. It's smoother like the Swedish versions. But the color, the Swedish version is whiter. So that means I'm going to need to do new tests to find out how this one's going to react with water. Which means I know I'm probably not going to come back and do a video on how does water hold up in this new book. So I'm going to have to just do it right now, and that makes me a little nervous because it's my brand new coloring book and I haven't done any colorings in it, so this will be breaking it in. So let's have a little look on that nameplate page. Okay, I'm going to take, by the way, I owe you a new updated coloring pencil collection video. So bear with me, I'm going to do that for you. Let's try... I'm just going with an Inktense because I just want to see about buckling and whatnot. And of course, colouring in as a pencil, this paper is beautiful to work on, but it is a very slightly different paper to the other books that I have of hers from the different editions. So make of that what you will. I still think that I prefer the look of a nice smooth paper because I'm not fighting with the tooth to get colour down as much. Sometimes that means you cannot lay as many layers down. But again, there doesn't seem to be any clear rules on paper because, you know, they all have different qualities. There's just so many different variables on paper that, you know, we can't say for sure. If you're going to have a good time blending or not. So the pencil test will come out from just coloring some pages and just, for me, I actually do it the other way around. I use my pencils to suit the paper, so I don't, you know, go out and seek any particular paper for particular things. However, I have come across coloring books that are a better, you know, a more enjoyable experience. But it's also an excuse to make sure you always have a very decent pencil. If you're trying to put down coloring pencils that don't have a lot of pigment, then no matter how good the paper is, you're always going to be fighting against the lack of pigment in your pencil. So at some point, if you then combine that with a poorer quality paper, at some point that paper tooth becomes full anyway, and then you can no longer add any more layers of pencil. And your blending is not going to come out right. But if you have a decent pencil where you don't even need that many layers, or they just lay down and they just blend, then you can be a little bit more forgiving on the papers. I wouldn't say, you know, go and buy a Dollar Tree coloring book and because you got good pencils or anything like that. but definitely all of the big illustrators, so the Hanna Karlzons, the Kirby Roseannes, who else? All of them really, all of the big names. You should have a good time with a decent pencil. Those aren't the artists that are giving you rubbish. Okay, so let me just see. I'm looking for one of these that actually has water in. Here we go. Let's try this one. So this is gonna be the wider water brush, which means there might be quite a bit of. I might end up being a bit generous with the water because of this brush, but let's see. So I'm expecting to see some buckling to begin with. And then what I found before with her books is there was some buckling, and I have a very kind of like low tolerance for buckling in colouring books and paper because I don't like it. But I did find that it flattened out really easily, really fast. So this may be one that I need to let dry. And then close it up. Let it sit flat under its own weight for a little bit. And then come back and let you know. And obviously I'm doing a really, really rushed job here, and that's fine because anywhere that I go over the lines with the water, if I do ever come round to colouring this page in for proper, then I will easily go over any of these spilt areas with colouring pencil and fix all of that. I'm confident I can fix any of that. Even the jewels, you know, that's where your white pens come in. These are Inktense pencils, remember, so I'm not expecting it to move so much once it's been activated. But as you can see, this is the buckling I was talking about. You can start to see a bit of waves in the paper. You can see a little bit on the other side. But once all that water has evaporated and dried out, we might be fine. So let me go and pop that, leave that open to dry, and then I'm going to close it once it's dried and then come back to you with a result. I'm back to find out what happened to our page. I left it open to dry, and then because it was one of the pages on the front of the book, I just left it under its own weight for a few hours. It's been a couple of hours, so let's see how this paper has taken to water. And as you can see, that is minimal warping of the paper. And you saw how much, I mean, look, it was my big brush, water brush. It's a Derwent one, you know, it's a really, really, really wide, it's got a lot of water flow out of that. And this was all pretty much saturated. And the paper has got its rough texture to it, but there's like no warping. And let's face it, rough texture for colored pencils, what's that going to do? Give me more pigment lay down? I'm not worried about that at all. So yes, I think we can be pretty confident going through this book, and if we're wanting to use some water-based mediums, your Neocolors, your watercolor pencils, I didn't even need to use this much water. I could have easily just gone through with a little bit. Also, don't forget that you can use your clear alcohol colorless blender pens to also work your watercolor pencils as well. You don't just have to use water, and if you use your alcohol marker, your clearless blender, clearless blender, colorless blender. You do not need, you won't get any issues. It just evaporates its solvent base, so there's no damage to the paper at all. And it's colorless, so there's nothing that goes through to the outside. So you have all these options, because I'm thinking that that's going to be some options for these kind of artistries. So there you have it, another fantastic, amazing book by the amazingly talented Hanna Karlzon. There is a link in the description if you want to pick up this book from Amazon, but wherever you can get it, get it. See you soon. Take care.